Round two, by the way.
Isn't that a nice background for those of y'all coming in? I thought it
like
really
it.
popped. We've got several live streams coming up. One of the Facebook groups, YouTube coming up, Twitter, Twitch. And then I don't know if we have to manually enter the other ones or not. You're going to have to help me out with that one, Luke.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to manually throw those ones up on Facebook. If you can do that, I will get us going because I think we are almost there. So, yeah, Scott, just if you can, if you can pull the Facebook one, we'll be off and rolling, buddy.
Well, we'll see if I can. I've never actually done it.
Well, while you're doing that, what's going on, Broncos country? It is Saturday night.
Now we're spinning.
Yeah, now we're going. We got it going. It's Scott Kennedy and Luke Patterson here on Saturday night for Mile High Insiders. And you already know what it is, Broncos country. The home opener tomorrow against the Jets. It's finally here. And I know it's just the Jets, but Scott, it's a sold-out crowd at, in Power Field at Mile High. The energy is going to be electric. The Broncos are 2-0. Zach Wilson is coming off an abysmal performance. We'll get into that later. Man, how you feeling? And the night before kickoff, I always get butterflies. I always get anxious. I'm feeling good in this one, man.
Well, I've been saying all week, there is no, when you're coming off a 5-11 season, there is no just anybody. Last year, the Denver Broncos were one of those, it's just the Broncos teams. You don't take any wins for granted at this stage of the rebirth. We came in and
I like that, Scott. Hashtag the rebirth. George Payton's rebirth. I like that a lot, Scott. I really like that. Well, finish your thought, and I want to get into that rebirth because that's something I haven't heard, and that's a huge trigger word. I like it.
This is an alpha franchise. This is the Denver Broncos. We're not talking about, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints popping up and having a blip, but are historically pretty bad. This is an alpha franchise, and it's hit a dip, but this is step one of coming back. And when people say it was just this team or just this team, they're already kind of mentally making that leap that Denver should be beating these teams. Well, they hadn't. So until you're beating those teams, then you can start taking it for granted. I mean, I don't think anybody's ready to say, okay, yeah, Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, let's start booking our tickets and all this type of stuff. But I've said it before. I've said it all week. It's okay to be excited. It's okay to enjoy it and stop looking, well, it's just this team, it's just that team. So what? Those are only two teams you could have played. Who were you supposed to beat this week, the past 2 weeks?
I absolutely love it. There's no such thing as an easy win. You could call it a trap game. You could go back,
especially on the road early in the season.
Sure, against a team that's still trying to prove themselves. The rebirth. I like it because, man, this team, they've tricked us before. They really have with Case Keenum and going 2-0. And I'm writing articles that I wish I didn't because I'm embarrassed calling him a gunslinger and throwing picks and all kinds of things like that. We're always wrong. And Scott, you're in the scouting community. You have been. You're one of the godfathers, if you will, of the scouting community.
Luke, I had this conversation with our baseball coach this morning when he told me I was wrong.
Yeah. And, okay.
That's one of my buzzwords. So he got an earful. Well, he got some
We're all wrong. We're all wrong on some.
Listen, I'm not wrong yet. At least let me be wrong before I am wrong. Because when you start using words like right and wrong when predicting the future, these guys are going to make you look like a moron. So you always leave yourself just a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, we try to make the informed, speculation, if you will, based off of what we're seeing.
So, I think the Broncos in the middle, when we were talking this summer, where should the Broncos be? If everything goes right, stay healthy, get good quarterback play, Von Miller comes back, all these things that you're thinking. I don't remember for sure, but I think I had 11-6. I think I had 11-6.
Okay.
It started off well. And then here comes the tough part of the schedule comes up. You start hitting those AFC North teams. I still have a lot of fear for those teams. And there's a dip, and then there's a takeoff point.
For sure. And the Broncos are doing what they're supposed to be doing right now. And Broncos country, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing right now. It's Scott Kennedy, Luke Patterson on Saturday night. I want to say hello. I know Michael Ronquillo's in the house. What's going on, Abel? Chase, how are you? I want to thank our good friend Chris from last weekend, Mr. Chris Hernandez. I know he will be listening on this podcast as well. And look at this one. I got to pull this up from our guy, Chase Wilner. Did Nick run off to the mountains again? I absolutely love it. Scott graciously giving us some of his time on a Saturday night. Nick has some family in and some family time that is very important right now in his life. So I'm going to leave it at that. And he can explain later. But Nick's well. You'll see him next Saturday. You'll see him on, Broncos for Breakfast with these two fine young gentlemen every morning. And you'll be able to catch him on Building the Broncos with Scott as well. So do not worry. Nick will be back. Shane, how are you? Good to see you. Jewel the Fool. Here we go. Jets Week is here. I just released my Keys to Victory article last night, I believe. And for me, one of the first things you got to do if we're talking about a defense, you have got to bruise and batter Zach Wilson. This interior defensive line, Scott, they've got to start getting after it a little bit more. No Bradley Chubb. We get it. Malik Reed. Enter Malik Reed. I need to see some sacks, all right? We're 3 games in. Von Miller's the only guy with sacks right now. How do the Denver Broncos generate more sacks or more of a pass rush to get after one Zach Wilson?
Well, I also think that Draymond Jones was looked really good in the first week and was a little quiet in the second week. So let's get Draymond Jones going too. You never want to give somebody too much time, even a quarterback that just threw 4 interceptions. But I don't want to see Denver gambling. I don't think you have to gamble to beat Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Get after him with your front 4. Get after him with a 4-man rush. You're showing 5. So whether it's coming from, Von's side and he's dropping off, or you got Malik Reed coming in, or Jonathan Cooper's coming in from one side, or, let's sneak Baron Browning up there too. A blitz up the middle every so often is okay. Drop both linebackers off, but I'd like to see 7 guys in coverage. Why? I normally don't. Why? Because those 4 interceptions, 1, 2, 3, 4, that Zach Wilson threw last week, he wasn't pressured. Not for the most part. They were just bad decisions where that little clock, that dial in your head starts going off, and he probably had more time than he thought, started getting a little happy and made some bad throws. 3 of those were horrible throws, and one of them was thrown too hard and went through a receiver's hands. So I'd still put that one on the quarterback. But he overcorrected. His first one were thrown too hard, and the next one, I think the final one, 3rd or 4th one, looked like a punt. I think I don't remember who had it, but the safety for the Patriots is back there fair catching it as he's bringing it in. So what I don't want to see is them gamble. There's no reason to gamble against this team.
What's a gamble? Like an unnecessary blitz? You don't want to see a corner.
We're going to throw 7-man blitz, an overload.
Okay, yeah, jailhouse blitz. Yeah. All right, all right.
Blitz. Absolutely, old Jerry Glanville days.
Once, can't we see it once though,
of
Scott?
Course,
I mean, just okay, absolutely. Just once, all right.
Just for the same reason you'd like the Broncos to establish the run, but you still want to throw one over the top. Sure. I don't want a 50-yard pass to be the basis of this offense. Yeah, every once in a while, make sure that, listen, you get a little comfortable back there. We're gonna send Kareem Jackson, who's a human missile from somewhere. Patrick Surtain's gonna pop up out of nowhere. We're gonna send 3 guys from Von Miller's side. Let them know it's there. But my point is if the Broncos play mistake-free, fairly conservative, they'll squeeze a life out of this Jets team.
Squeeze the life and bruise and batter Zach Wilson. It's what the Broncos got to do. Lawrence Rivera weighing in. Thank you very much for joining Scott and I on MHI on your Saturday nights. We are just
appreciate the stars on that one too, Lawrence.
Yeah, we are right. We're so hours, Broncos country, hours from the home opener down there at Empower Field, and Lawrence weighing in. Let's get at the quarterback early, keep him scared, and it will be our game for the taking. Let's get out of there healthy. Oh, man, health has been something that the Denver Broncos...
Before I forget, since I haven't let you speak probably at all the first 10 minutes, before I forget, speaking of hours, I know this is going to be a lot of fun and really important for everybody. I wanted to show this flyer that's going out because the meet and greet is tomorrow. So tomorrow, the game day tailgate, when? Tomorrow. Where? Lot D. And the time pretty much will be 2 hours before kickoff, somewhere in that 10 to – what time? Is it Mountain Time, 2 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah, it should be 2 p.m. kickoff here in the Mile
So
High
a 2
City.
p.m. kickoff Mountain Time. So that 11 to 1 o'clock window, 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock window is when you're going to have your best chance. And then an hour before, everybody should be packed up. And before kickoff, everybody should be packed up and moving on. But before we got too far along, I wanted to remind everybody, and since we have this nice graphic to show, we might as well show it. Now I'll shut up for a minute and let you
Did you make
speak.
that? Did you make that
I
graphic?
did not make this. No, I didn't
Oh,
make this.
okay. I was going to give you props. Either way, it looks nice. It looks nice, man. I can't do any of that artistic stuff. So here we go. If you're Zach Wilson, are you attacking Kyle Fuller right away? It's been a theme that we've seen the last 2 games from Daniel Jones with the Giants. You saw it with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. I would not be surprised to see a Zach Wilson who has a significant arm. That arm is getting him in trouble right now. Sometimes like Drew Lock's arm got him into trouble. You see some of those similarities. I do like Zach Wilson. I think that his rookie year is going to be his rookie year with the Jets. And for the love of God, New York, please do not ruin this young man's career. He looks about 12, first of all. But I do like Robert Saleh. I'm interested to see what the offensive coordinator, that first year young buck, still got his ears wet. I'm curious to see what he's going to do as well. Mike Leflore, is that right? Matt LaFleur's little brother, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Is the
I
offensive? He's the offensive coordinator for the
Leflore. I start thinking hockey.
Yeah, so he's the offensive coordinator. Obviously, Matt, head coach of the Green Bay Packers, right? But he's the offensive coordinator for the Jets. In the scouting community, we hear whispers all the time. Scott, I don't know if you heard of this one yet, but he is being mentioned as 2 years down the road, probably going to be a head coach. So I'll be interested to see what he does. He's a Shanahan disciple, right? That Ode to McVay disciple. Curious to see how they're going to do it. We're going to see Javonte Williams finally in the Mile High City, but you're also going to see his old running mate, Michael Carter. Michael Carter well. We both love scouting. We both dive into the draft. We hit the road and we check out some of these all-star games. You've done it for a long time. I've done it for a little bit. Tell me a little bit about Michael Carter and what you can expect from the New York Jets running attack, because Zach Wilson's going to need some assistance there.
Yeah, I liked Michael Carter. A good receiver out of the backfield, a little smaller, shifty but not small. Still runs with some good power, but he's more of a third down type of back is what you think of in the old school ways, where you can get him the ball multiple ways out of the backfield. Good shiftiness, probably closer to Melvin Gordon in running style than Javonte Williams, which is why they complemented themselves so well. Going back to a question you had a little bit ago, if I'm Zach Wilson, do I go right after Kyle Fuller? I start thinking a little bit in terms of basketball.
Okay.
I got a shooter that's cold. I want to run some plays for him to get some easy shots, some layups, something like that, some little pull-ups. I would think coming out early, you want to try and get him going with some screen passes, some quick slants, some easy stuff, some bread and butter stuff, before trying to go down the field again. And Jules the Fool had a nice comment here. Jules the Fool had a nice comment here too. He said, I know Wilson was horrible against the Pats, but he's going to look better this weekend. Don't expect a beatdown like that. I agree. I think he had to have learned something from that. I don't expect another 4 interceptions is what I'm saying. I don't think anybody should. But I didn't see enough to say, let's blitz these guys light-outs and gamble. I think I don't expect a beatdown either. I'm just not sure that that's in the nature of this Broncos team to throw 40 up, like Eric said, had a 42-9 score or something like this. I might see a more comfortable type of 27-10 again, like we've seen the past few weeks. So
yes, and stay tuned. We will get into our prediction, Scott prediction, and mine towards the end of the show in Broncos country. Get yours in, and we will bring them up towards the end of the show. So, all right, Kyle Fuller maybe doesn't test them. I hear you.
Right away. Absolutely, not right away. I wouldn't think of. I would try and get him going early, like just the same thing. A running back fumbles the ball, give it to him right away. You want to get some screen passes, get some, to out of the backfield or a bubble screen to your wide receiver, a quick slant, anything like that. But try and get some easy completions to get his rhythm going and his confidence back up before you start trying to attack the perimeter again. That'd be my thoughts.
I like it. I like Zach Wilson. I liked him a lot in the draft. I still like his potential, but he is a rookie that is swimming in this league right now. It's to be expected. Um, I think Zach Wilson, he's gonna throw for some significant yards tomorrow, folks. Vic Fangio does have a bend, but don't break defense. You're gonna see some turnovers. Called the Pat Surtain interception last week. I absolutely loved it. I'm still on my victory lap there. I cannot wait to see Justin Simmons get one this week. And speaking of Justin Simmons, guys, here at MHH, you will have an opportunity to earn a Justin Simmons jersey, courtesy of everybody here at MHH. We've got a really special promotion going on right now where stars are essentially acting as a raffle, if you will. And the more stars that you send in, and it does apply to YouTube as well, and our Facebook supporters, we never forget any of y'all. We appreciate all the support for keeping the lights on. Ultimately, 250,000 stars is the goal. Once that happens, once you decide to donate, you're automatically entered for number 31 Justin Simmons jersey. So Broncos country, know that going in. We appreciate your support, and I want to see who wins that Justin Simmons jersey, because it was Howie freaking Day last month that won, I think, the Von Miller jersey, and he absolutely killed it. And I know that
actually is his name, not in a description.
Yeah, it's Howie freaking Day, and I know Howie freaking Day wants some Howie freaking Simmons. So let's get to the let's open it up a little bit here. You and I like to flap our gums. It's one of the things we try to avoid in podcasting, whether it be podcasting or radio. But we've got a decent sized stream joining us on Saturday night. Broncos country is excited for the Jets, as they should be. And let's see some predictions. Here's another big prediction, kind of like Eric was alluding to. Broncos 42, Jets 10. Go Broncos. It could happen, Michael. It really could. Michael, one of our very good friends, Michael Branquillo, of course, always in the running to get that Justin Simmons jersey. We appreciate your support, sir. Here's the thing. I completely agree with Scott. These are still going to be competitive games, and you're going to have competitive matchups. Losing Josie Jewell is a significant blow to the Denver Broncos. Josie Jewell has problems covering tight ends. Now you're going to be seeing the new guy from LA who had the practice squad. I can't even get his name right yet.
Micah Kaiser.
Yeah, Micah. You're going to get not Micah Parsons, the other guy that I really liked on defense. The other Micah, the practice squad Micah. So there you go. You're going to be getting, maybe some Baron Browning on the edge. I don't love that at all, if I'm going to be honest, Scott. Baron Browning needs to stay in one spot. That spot is inside Ohio State. He is a team player. He will do whatever they want him to do. I'm excited to see some Jonathan Cooper. But, my guy, McTelvin Agene, it's time for you to wake up, baby. Shelby Harris, it's time to wake up, because Draymond Jones will be getting after him. But I think this game will be a little bit closer. We'll get to our predictions a little bit later. Here we go. Benjamin Flores. Let's check this out. 30-17 Broncos. That's, I think, a little bit more fair. Jets will have one garbage time touchdown. Guys, special teams has absolutely killed the Denver Broncos. We were all witnesses in Jacksonville. And Scott, that's another one of my keys to the game, special teams, that I wrote about on milehighhuddle.com. Just please be average. Don't choke. Okay? Like, for the love of God, just please be average and peek behind the curtain. We were talking flag football, Scott and I. I'm trying to learn, and Scott's coached a ton of kids and a ton of sports, so he's given me some words of wisdom. And it's just one of those things, man, where it's like, dude, stay assignment and fundamentally sound, please. It's not always the coach. I hear everybody with the Tom McMahon just pitchforks and lanterns wanting to go down there and burn down UC Health Training Center to get rid of Tom McMahon, but he's not the problem for me right now. You can only coach what you can coach. As a special teams player, it is your responsibility to make plays and make tackles. Are you worried about special teams, Scott?
Yeah, a little bit. The coverage units, and I don't know. I don't know the Broncos well enough historically to know if, is out punting your coverage a problem? With the thin air, does that become a thing? If I go from I'm averaging 48 to all of a sudden I'm averaging 52, that's 2 steps. That's 2 more steps that I got to cover. Well, 2 steps to a return guy is an acre of space.
Right.
So how do you compensate for that? Now, on the flip side of that, should never be a kickoff return. In the thin air, you should be able to kick the ball through the end zone. There's very few kick returns these days anyway. You should never have a kickoff return up there. You should have somebody that can knock the ball through the back of the end zone, even if he's just a specialist. So Gary Leeds Palmer coming in. Let me see if I can pop him. Where'd you go, Gary?
There he is. I got him.
Yep, there's got it with the cup of coffee. I appreciate it. Always appreciate the coffee. With the stars. Love it. Loving Scott and Luke. Want to see a break. You know what? I'm so in tune to this now, Gary. I said want to see breakfast. That's what I read when I glanced down.
Broncos and Broncos
31-10.
Yeah, and Broncos for breakfast is where you can find Scott and Nick on the mornings. Y'all are crazy too, especially on Tuesdays, by the way. You know, these guys are up and at 'em talking and yelling at each other on Tuesday morning.
For me, remember.
Okay, and then they're yelling at each other a few hours later for building the Broncos. It's the best thing ever. Guys, be sure to get at milehighhuddle.com where you can find all of our best written content. We've got little links over to some film breakdown, if you will, and other really good stuff for Broncos country to view. And here's the cool thing about Mile High Huddle. I'm just going to say it right now. You don't need a subscription with us, all right? We're not going to charge you fees. We're not going to lock up our articles or any of that stuff. Come on over to mhh.com, and we have got your back. Speaking of getting your back, our guy Nate Dogg has got our back with a $5 super. Appreciate you so much, Nate, and go Broncos. Hope you and your family are doing well. Can Brandon McManus just boot the ball into the end zone every time? I think that $5 was going into the good karma bank because BMAC has been the man for a long time. No one's going to dispute that. Look for BMAC, I think, to have a good game. Scott, you had just referenced something that Nate Dogg was throwing down as well. Altitude, kicking in the altitude. It does matter here, and I think that's something that Brandon McManus will have an advantage with. Now, whether the punter and the punting unit they're going to be able to do anything, that's another game, man. You know, that's a whole nother story. So you got kickoff problems. Sometimes punts looked pretty decent. You saw Josie Jewell absolutely obliterate somebody last week against Jacksonville, but no Josie Jewell now. So who is willing to make a play? Give me one name, a random third stringer, second stringer that you want to see make a play, Scott. Someone that Broncos country can keep their eye on.
Well, see, here's the thing is my guy in the preseason was a backup, but he was on the DL. So I don't expect to see him so much in punt coverage.
Who are you talking about?
But that was Deshawn Williams.
Okay. Yeah.
Deshawn Williams was my player of the preseason. So far through 2 games of those random backup type guys, when we mentioned who needs to step up on the DL, for me, Shamar Stevens has flashed more than some of the other guys. So, it's one of those where you're just kind of watching an overview and you're like, oh, who is that? Oh, Shamar Stevens again. So, I think he's been playing really well. And I want to call out some people that are coming in here back to back here with the stars. We certainly appreciate it. Randy, thank you very much.
Thanks, Randy.
Katie, again, that looks, my if I was a Warshak, that looks like a cup of coffee to me. It's probably
I'm wondering if this is my friend Katie, who I used to work with. If it is, I sure appreciate the support. If not, I still appreciate the support.
And if not, we got a new friend.
Yeah, so, if not, we got new friends. But no, really appreciate you guys.
And Muhammad coming in. If y'all have any questions or anything,
Mo is my guy. I will interrupt anybody to give Mo a shout out. He's our MHH Mile High Huddle male model, always repping our swag. And guys, if you want some swag like I've got, and Scott, what the hell? We got to get you some MHI stuff. We got to get you some building the Broncos stuff.
Breakfast stuff is available now. I've got to get a Broncos for breakfast hat.
Broncos for breakfast, guys. You know where you want to get your gear? You want to get your swag? Get your swag on over at the huddleuppod.com store. That's the huddleuppod.com. Get your swag on, guys. You can find us on Twitter as well, at Mile High Huddle, specifically this show, Twitter at MHI_pod. I'd appreciate it if you guys gave us a follow because, Twitter's the most important thing ever. And we would appreciate your support. We've got lots of eyes on us all the time. And Katie's saying, yeah, it's me. What's up? Hey, good to see you, Katie. I hope you win that Justin Simmons jersey. You are officially in the running. And, I take care of my friends. Happy anniversary, Katie. A happy belated anniversary to you and your husband. Hope y'all are doing well. Scott, I see a lot of conversation here in the comment section, a ton of it. And Broncos country, they're wanting to know what's going on with the Broncos interior offensive line. Garrett Bowles has looked solid. We finally seem to have a right tackle in Bobby Massey, who's not only competent, but I would say above average and doing okay. What's going on with Graham Glasgow's status for tomorrow? What's going on with Lloyd Cushenberry and Dalton Reisner, who both could have had a lot better games the last 2 weeks.
Earlier in the word when we were doing these shows, it said that Glasgow is going to be back, but he's listed as questionable. So if I've got somebody that's questionable that's out because of a heart condition, to me, I want him out. I don't want any questions when we're dealing with someone's ticker. I want that one to be sure. So let's be positive about something like that. But it could just be precautionary and just one of those things where he's on there. But he's listed as questionable on the final injury report. So that leaves Muti, and that leaves Dalton Reisner on the edges. And I think we're going to see the interior line have their best game. We're going to see some improvements. Some of the problems that they were having were schematically. They were overloading the box. They were absolutely stacking 8 guys in the box and attacking the interior line. I don't think the Jets are going to do that. The previous games, we had the Giants and we had the Jags. They were daring Teddy Bridgewater to beat them, right? They were daring him. Well, guess what? Teddy tore him apart.
He scorched him, but Scott, Teddy can't throw any deep balls. Teddy's two gloves. Teddy checked out. Scott, no, Teddy can't do this.
I'll say it for the 1,000th time. The deep ball isn't about arm strength. It's not. Every quarterback in this league, any quarterback pretty much from the college level, most of them in high school can throw a ball 50 yards downfield. That's about play action and beating someone deep. That's not what the deep ball is. When you start talking about arm strength, the money throw, when you're watching guys, can they play in this league in NFL? It's the outside hash on a 20-yard out. Can they get the ball there or not? If they can, they've got a chance to play in this league. It's not about throwing a deep ball on play action over the top of the safety. That's not about arm strength. Every quarterback in this league can make that throw. So Teddy's got plenty of arm. But I think he's actually looked better than any of us were expecting with his release and his arm strength. And part of it could just be comfort and confidence. And the weapons that he's got at his disposal are probably better than any he's had in his career.
Well, and his ability to not only stay calm under pressure, Scott, but improvise, throw on the run, do some things that he used to do before that horrific leg injury. It's bizarre because in a few plays, you see some shades of old Teddy. Now, he's not as fast. He's not as agile. He's not cutting people up. But it's bizarre and it's working and it's a pleasant surprise. And Broncos country, get on the Teddy B train. Speaking of getting on the train, supporting everybody, Justin going to be getting on the train and coming here to the Mile High City. Scott, a $20 super. Appreciate you so much, Jay. So excited. I'm heading down from Wyoming as we speak to meet the MHH crew and watch a blowout. There's another one. Thinking of another blowout with the Jets. How great would that be? Okay, we're talking offensive line. Appreciate the support, Jay. I hope safe travels, by the way.
My underlying point that I could fit in a tweet is the Broncos are going to have more room to run the ball than they've had in their first 2 games. By default, the offensive line, the interior offensive line is going to look better because they're not going to be overloaded. So let's look for improvement in the interior offensive line.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I do respect Robert Saleh. I do like the defensive linemen in there. Rankins, Williams, CJ Mosley. Do not sleep on CJ Mosley. Go back, you start watching some tape. Those guys can get after it a little bit. I think it's going to be a really, really good test. And let's get to one of our young ladies that's joining us tonight on MHI. And please, please, please correct me if I butcher your name because I'm very sorry. I want to make sure I get this right. Is that Kala, her coming in?
I'd go Kayla to start.
Kayla. Oh, okay. See, that's just me being a goop.
Kayla, but
that's Kayla. All right. So I'm so sorry, Kayla. That's why Scott's here to correct me.
No, I'm not saying I'm right. That'd be my guess though. But we've got boring. Well, I'm a lot older than you, but I got boring Gen X name Scott.
Let's get that one back. Yeah, no, not at all, man. Kayla, appreciate you so much. Very pretty name. I do like the spelling. Teddy brings leadership, guys. You can tell the team wants to work harder for him. The Broncos have been missing that since Peyton left. Kayla, I absolutely love that because that intangible is something that I've been speaking about and spewing out of these lips, word salad, writing it on all the articles for my training camp journal. When I was out there, it was so easy to tell that this team was falling in love with Teddy They respect him. They ride with him. They play for him. He's down there hanging with the defensive linemen and then the defensive backs, in practice. That's something that you don't see. You didn't see Drew doing, and there's no fault to Drew. It's just who Teddy is, and he is that survivor, and I love the leadership. And one thing that we got to see, and I know you and I didn't really get to talk about it, we got to hear Von Miller in that week 1 game saying, to quote Kayla, hey, man, we haven't had this since 18 left. And those pep talks and those things that you're doing, we believe. And I need that. Von Miller needs that. Super Bowl 50, Von Miller, 3 sacks. I'm getting all excited and choked up here. He's already just dominating. He's saying he believes in Teddy, and it's hard to get him rah-rahed. Kayla, I absolutely love that. That's a very, very important point. What do you think of Teddy's?
Correct this. It's Kyla.
Kyla. Okay. Kyla. Appreciate you so much, Kyla. That's a very good point. What do you think of Kyla's comment there about Teddy's leadership? How much does leadership matter on this Denver Broncos offense?
Well, what's funny is when we first started talking about Teddy Bridgewater, I've covered Teddy since he was a junior in high school, and he was a Pied Piper in the most talent-rich area in the country for prep football down in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, the Dade Broward counties. I firmly believe that he flipped the fortunes of 2 programs by choosing Louisville instead of going to Miami, because if he had gone to Miami, the Miami Hurricanes would have gotten any kid for the next 3 years out of that area that they wanted, like they used to. That's how important Teddy Bridgewater, the person, was in that area.
Well, and that's why he didn't go to Miami, because the person was too good for Miami. We know how Miami rolls.
Well, whatever it was, there was coaching changes in there, whatever it was, when Teddy didn't go there, it was extremely detrimental. It wasn't just about, the quarterback that you didn't get, because he was a great player, but just what he meant down in that area. It's like, oh, if Teddy's not going here, why would I go there? But I mentioned, I use the word leader of men, back in June or May when we first started talking about him, and the eyes were rolling. I was getting eye rolling, oh God, he called him a leader. I'm like, it's important. It is, but it's kind of like saying, talking about, someone you're going to go out a date with, that person's got a great personality. Oh God.
It always comes back to personalities,
but it is. It's one of his best attributes.
It does.
And I've said, whether you wanted Drew Lock to start or whether Teddy Bridgewater starts, if Teddy wins, if he plays great or not, he is really, really easy to root for as a fan, because he's such a tremendous person. And you see how quickly this team is bonded around Teddy Bridgewater. He's a veteran. He's been around the league. He's come back from things. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's done all these really good things. And one of his Teddy, like, if it was somebody else saying it, you might roll your eyes too, but he goes, I don't know about the starting job, but I'm just here to try and make these guys, it was Ted Lasso like, try and make these guys be the best versions of themselves on and off the field. I swear to God, he was quoting Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso was quoting Teddy Bridgewater.
No, Teddy Bridgewater's the man. And here's the thing. He's authentic. Teddy knows who he is, and that's how players describe him. He's the same, morning, lunch, and dinner, man. He's the same guy. And guys respect the real. They keep it real, right? You got to keep it real with guys. Otherwise, they don't trust you and they don't believe you. False bravado only goes so much, and it doesn't go anywhere in the NFL. But speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, here's a really good question that Broncos country is talking about, coming from our guy, Sky Griffin. Thank you so much for joining Scott and I here on MHI tonight. Appreciate you, Mr. Griffin. Hey, guys, all that Teddy love, would you sign Teddy to a 5-year deal? Now, I don't know about the 5-year deal, Sky, but the conversation is definitely coming up. If Teddy continues to play this well, do you come to him and talk about maybe another 1 to 2 year deal? For me, it's way too early to even think about going there. I am perfectly fine with where we're at right now because he's exceeding expectations. The Carolina Panthers are paying the majority of his salary, $7-8 million, and I think the Broncos are only on the books for $2 to $3 million for Teddy.
It's more like 15.
Is that right?
He had like a 3-year, $60 million deal. He was getting a lot of money,
but just for this year. Just for this year, though, I was pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong. We can get over to Spot Rack. The Broncos are paying pennies on the dollar.
Right, they're paying like 4, but I think that means that the Panthers are paying like 15.
Oh, that's so much, man. Good old Matt Rule, right? And we all saw that mess. Christian McCaffrey, get better, bud. JC Horn, get better. Turf absolutely kills me. But no, you got to see Teddy continue to play well. The biggest thing for me, Teddy's going to turn the ball over, folks. It's going to happen. All right. It's going to either be a fumble or an interception. Now, as soon as it happens, I know there's going to be some chirps for Drew Lock and everything like that. Bad plays happen in the NFL. These players are too good. Guys get caught. Things happen. I'm trying to clean it up for podcasting. Happens in the NFL. All right. It's just kind of the way it goes. So if you see a turnover, if you see something like that, do not panic, because his teammates aren't going to panic. And that's something that I absolutely love from Teddy Bridgewater. Panicking does nobody any good. Absolutely never. You can't go anywhere by panicking. But before we go any further, I want to open it up just a little bit more. Our guy James is coming in saying that'd be a great deal. Peyton GM of the year. Not sure if he's referencing the Teddy Bridgewater deal, but Scott, what do you make? Teddy Bridgewater, do you re-sign him? Do you wait a little longer?
Well,
what do you if you're George Payton, what are you thinking?
I'm going to answer the question as it was asked. Do you sign Teddy to a 5-year deal? No.
Why not?
Injury history. That's too much.
Is that it?
If it's for that, yeah. I mean, and depending on what the price is, has he proven over a long enough time that he's going to be a top 10 quarterback? Because that's the guy. If you're going to sign him to a 5-year deal, and let's forget, to me, let's pretend a 5-year deal actually is a 5-year deal, and not a 5-year deal that you're backloading so you can cut him later.
Right.
But it actually is a 5-year deal. I wouldn't be ready to commit to Teddy Bridgewater for 5 years. It's, as you just said, it's way too early to have a knee-jerk reaction like that, because right now you'd really be negotiating against yourselves. And let's get a bigger body of work before we start making those type of decisions. Would I start thinking about an extension, a 2-year deal? Yeah. And let's get in his ear and say, hey, let's start thinking about a 2-year extension on this. Nick and I got into this a little bit about what it would cost, and I started thinking 10 to 12, and he threw out the word 20 again. I'm like, 20 is going to be high. 20 is going to put you in the top 8 or 9 quarterbacks, and I don't know that Teddy's going to be there over the course of 17 games. But 8 figures is nothing to sneeze at. You go 10 or 12 million, Teddy, it lets us build around you. It doesn't handicap us the way we see some other teams, Atlanta Falcons, who can't do anything because the quarterback's contract situation is too prohibitive. So you make that sales point. But no, 5 years right now, no. And for a 2-year extension, I'm still going to hold off. We're only 2 games into a 17-week season. I'm not quite there yet. And wanted to grab these stars real quick from James when we were talking about the the leadership and the intangibles and all those type things. And he says you can be a great guy, but if you don't lead by example, you can't really be effective. That seems to be the problem we've had since Peyton F. and Manning retired, unless his middle name actually is F. And I actually had a different point with this as well, because you're right. You've got to lead by example for sure. The do as I say, not as I do doesn't work ever. And the other part of that is you've got to be effective. You've got to hold up your end, leading by example by performing and being effective. If you're going out there and you're stinking it up, then your leadership wanes. That's why captains are usually the better players, because they're leading by example and they're being effective. It's someone that leads because that's who they want to aspire to become, to play like, to be like. And he has to continue to be effective in order for the rest of his intangibles to keep having the same effect.
It's going to be interesting to see. One player I would love to see re-signed, but I know it's not going to happen, is our guy Tim Patrick. Our guy. If you got fantasy Play Tim Patrick. I'm telling you, man, that guy is money for at least one tutty. Love Tim Patrick. I know he's going to go to another team eventually and be a Pro Bowl wide receiver, and I cannot wait to see it because he looks great in orange and blue. I'm just not sure how long his future is going to be with the team. But before we go any further, Shannon Mills joining the show on MHI. Thank you very much for joining Scott and I before the Broncos open up against the New York Jets in a matter of hours. And Shannon sounding off. Teddy doesn't get rattled. He makes plays happen and has earned the respect of players. Due to that poise in his leadership. I want to say that one more time. He has earned the respect of the players. And you're starting to see those things start to come out. Now, I know Broncos country, the most educated fan base in the NFL, is aware that Teddy had KJ Hamler's locker moved over. I'm very frustrated with KJ Hamler. Now, it's a leadership move for Teddy, and no secret to anybody on these airwaves that I am very good friends with a local radio station here, and I'm disagreeing with a couple of good friends there because they're saying, KJ gets it, Luke. Calm down. He's hard on himself. He's staying after practice. Scott, I think he's overthinking it. KJ not having any fun out there, and KJ needs to have fun. I don't need him going up there being Jerry Judy's bodyguard in Minnesota. That's my own, get off my lawn guy moment. But I need KJ to focus just a little bit and let everything else go because this man has got the tools. He did drop a lot of balls in college coming out of the draft. I don't have to tell you that. You've done a huge dive into KJ Hamler. I already know it. What's going on with KJ right now? Because there's no connection between him and Teddy. You're seeing a one-legged Cortland Sutton get some really good reps, get that feeling going again. You're seeing Timmy Pats. You're seeing Noah Fant. What's going on with KJ Hamler?
It's early.
He's early. Young. He's a track star.
No.
You know what?
Season. You said there's no connection with him. So let me bring up
the
box score.
Calm me down. Walking me off the ledge, Scott, because I'm upset and I'm angry.
All right. Here we go. Someone's got to be left out, right? What have I heard constantly since I've been on here is we're not targeting, we're not using the tight ends. We're not using the tight ends. Well, the tight ends got 10 targets and had 8 catches. And then 11, and add another one because Saubert had a catch in the last game. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Cortland Sutton, who's coming off an injury and was the hot receiver, had 9 targets on 12 receptions. Okay, and now let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 different receivers. There's 10 total receivers.
Shout out Teddy B, baby. Shout out Teddy B.
So when we talked that this is going to be a tough fantasy team to have because you're going to have a different hot guy every week. I don't expect Sutton to get 9 catches every week. It might be Hamler this week. It might be Patrick next week. It might be Noah Fant the week after that. It might be Javonte Williams the week after that. When we ask the question to the group, it's like, who's the play? Who's going to be the key guy? You'll see 7 guys named. You'll see 7 guys go through the chat. And what does that tell you? There isn't a key guy. There's a lot of really good players, and any one of them at any given week, depending on matchups, form, could be the key guy. That makes for crap fantasy picks, but it makes for really, really good football teams. So Hamler, let's give it a little time. He's 1 catch away from having, being the leading receiver practically. So I'm not too worried about him. What I am interested in though, do we have a little bias about Tim Patrick?
Why is that? Because he's undrafted and I missed him coming out of Utah?
We have a little bias about what we think that his market's going to be to the rest of the league because, just looking, I don't know that he's going to be a huge receiver on this team. His best season is 50 catches for 700 yards. His next best is 23.
The man didn't drop a ball last year, Scott. Does that account for nothing to you? I mean, I'm being facetious, of course.
He's making 4 now.
Am I being biased? Am I being biased against Tim Patrick?
What I'm saying is he's making close to 4 now. Is there going to be such a market for this guy to pay him in the 10s that you can't bring him back?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to bring Tim back. I really don't. I don't. I think you're seeing guys go. What injuries haven't happened yet? I mean, what, Michael Thomas went down last year. That's been a problem ever since. Who's the next wide receiver to go down? You just saw Christian go down. You're seeing what, 4 out of 5 quarterbacks go down, not coming back last weekend
Sutton's
alone.
coming off, but my question is he going to be able to shine enough in this offense with all of these targets that he's going to have offers from around the league that will make him cost prohibitive? Someone going to come in and offer Tim Patrick 4 years and $60 million.
Maybe not 60. No, to answer your question, no, maybe not 60 million.
That's quadrupling his pay. But
right,
let's even say doubling it. We're gonna get someone come in and offer him 3 and 20.
35 million. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's a guy that will do whatever is asked of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we value that, to your point, in Broncos country. We love the blocks. We love I love the interviews. I love talking to Tim Patrick any chance I can get and ask him a question, because the guy is no BS and he will tell you what he thinks. And I absolutely love it. But maybe you're right. If I'm being completely honest, maybe there's some bias.
You're not the first person to say that. It's basically, it's almost like it's understood that Tim Patrick's going to be the one to go because you won't be able to afford to keep him. Well, where's he on the pecking order of receivers right now?
He's on the pecking order of getting a touchdown every single game the last 3 weeks coming up here, and that's where I don't know where his yardage stacks up. I know it's minimal because I wrote him up last week and I think he got 4 targets, maybe 3 catches, if that.
Yeah, he's 7 catches for 76 yards.
2 tutties
and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, if he gets those, if he's all he does is catch touchdown passes. Are you old enough to know where that came from?
Are you? How dare you? How dare you?
That's actually a famous line.
How dare you? No, and to answer your other question, no, I don't.
Okay. Well, Buddy Ryan said that about Chris Carter back in the day. All he does is catch touchdown passes.
All right.
But
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Scott. KJ Hamler, though, here's where I lose my patience with KJ. When he is already on his break and not turning his head around, you see Teddy getting after him a little bit. Like, come on, man. That's a you got to be dialed in. You got to be ready to go. Just because you don't know I'm going to go to you. I mean, come on, KJ. You're better than that, baby. I know you're better than that.
Expect the ball. It's coming.
Expect the ball.
Expect it.
Expect the ball, and that's something that we've got to try and see. I want to get to one of our good friends, Michael, coming in here saying, Teddy Bridgewater goes to his Broncos players and tells them, great pay, let's keep it up. It's great being, with the Denver Broncos. Michael Ronquillo is such a diehard fan. I absolutely love it. Shout out to my Gage.
Number 1, Michael Ronquillo is sitting number 1 on top. Oh,
Michael Ronquillo. Mike, you coming with that Justin Simmons
someone asked, does it matter which podcast that the stars go to? No, it matters that if you're just on that channel, if you're donating stars, it goes to the your overall total, whether it's Broncos for Breakfast, Dove Valley Deep Divers, Mile High Insiders, Huddle Up Pod, or there's one more.
Dove Valley Deep Divers, Huddle Up,
Building
the Broncos, MHI, Broncos for Breakfast,
Reaction.
Yeah, all that good stuff, man. It's absolutely great. No, shout out to everybody joining us, because we are finishing up our last little bit here. Peter Middleton, our guy. Peter Middleton, Scott, has been with us since the beginning. The show's been going on just over a year, coming on a year and a half now, and Pete, absolutely love you. Hope you're doing well. Patrick's become a red zone threat. Timmy P. KJ is still young and needs time, but he needs to hold on to the ball. You're right. You're right, Peter. You're right. He is young. We knew this coming out of college. This was a problem for him. He finally has a quarterback to steal Mark Schlereth, right? The great Mark Schlereth, love stink, good friend of mine. He's always making fun of me. You guys would love it. But he's always saying Teddy Bridgewater nurtures these wide receivers. He nurtures Alberto. I like that term a lot. You're talking rebirth. What does a veteran quarterback nurturing young wide receivers do for an offense and a team in general?
It keeps them from getting too high or too low, almost like a baseball mentality. It's like, hey, kid, I've been there. We've all had games like that. No, you don't. talking about coaching kids, getting back to that, is you never yell at a player for a physical mistake.
No, it's not personal. None of it.
Like, you got to catch that ball. No kidding. Thanks, coach. I had no idea I was supposed to catch that ball. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't feel. Now I don't feel as bad because I didn't know I was supposed to catch it. So yeah, he's going to get yelled at. He's going to catch crap. But, Teddy Bridgewater has thrown enough interceptions, fumbled, and all veteran quarterbacks have had their crap days, that to go in and say, listen, kid, it's going to be fine. We're going to need you. Keep your head up. We're going to need you. You're going to make a play that's going to win a game. So keep your head up. It's huge. It's huge. You don't get to that level without having a significant arrogance about you and confidence in yourself. But as the quarterbacks, they mature, and some of them are just different. Like Teddy's always been this way. They make the guys better around them a lot faster than some of the other players. And, one of the questions that was asked earlier was, can he elevate the guy? Can Teddy Bridgewater make the guys better around him? Absolutely, he can. They're all going to be better. He can make them better. Not because he can hit a guy on a 20-yard out, because another quarterback with stronger arm can do it at a tenth of a second faster, but because he's going to be more accurate. He's going to spread the ball around. And part of that, I saw you kind of give a cheer when I mentioned 10 receivers. He's going to keep everybody involved. And that should keep them more alert. And you practice harder, you work out harder, you do all those things to be ready. KJ, be ready. It's coming.
And that screws up the defense. The defense has no idea where you're going, where Teddy's going. He's got so many weapons. You're right. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches, something the Broncos have not had.
And what we learned coming out of this, like I said, it could be somebody else. I learned as a defensive coordinator, crap, Cortland Sutton's back. I got to worry about this kid.
Wait till he gets healthy. Wait till he's 100%, folks. Because
you know what I mean? If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm like, all right, now I gotta roll a safety over there. I got to do something with my coverage. And guess what? That means Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon are going to give you gut punches for 4 quarters.
Did you just say Javonte Williams? Are you talking about my guy Pookie? Because Pookie's going to get a touchdown. Finally, Broncos country, it's going to happen. You heard it right here. I know I will not be eating crow. Melvin Gordon might even get one as well. But guys, Pookie is going to be introduced to Broncos country. I want to see that mile-high salute. He's angry. He's mean. He doesn't like to talk to the media. He's a workhorse. He's a former linebacker, valedictorian, recruited by every Ivy League school in the country. I'm telling you, watch out, Broncos country. Pookie is coming. And Scott, I cannot wait to see it. And guys, we're kind of starting to wrap things up here. Appreciate you so much joining us tonight. He is Scott. I'm Luke. It's MHI. And we are getting you ready for Broncos Jets, the home opener. Lord Deer coming in with a very generous super chat. Appreciate you so much. Hope all is well. I absolutely love the start. Cautiously optimistic. I still see 9 wins. Can we get to 10? Okay, so let's say the Broncos.
There's 15 games left, so 7 and 8. I'd be a little disappointed with 7 and 8. LD. If the Broncos finish 7 and 8, for the next 15, I'd be a little disappointed. I would. Let's say I'm going to go back to what I said to begin with, and go on a even if you go on a 9-6 run, that's 11-6. And 9-6.
I'm not afraid.
9-6, barely 500.
I think, hey, Lord Deer, hang in there, because here's one thing I'm hearing, Lord Deer, and I hope you hear it too with the players during the post-game press conference. Whatever you hear from players, the one thing they're talking about, Scott, and I absolutely love it, call me old school, 1-0, baby, 1-0 after every victory, because it truly is one win at a time. I don't think these guys are looking past anybody, which is one of their best features. So don't worry about the Jets game. Now, here's what I'm going to say, Lord Deer, and call me crazy, but I've been watching the Ravens. I'm not afraid of the Ravens. I'm not. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out there and just pick the Broncos because we haven't even got through the Jets. But do I fear the Ravens like I used to, like last year, 2 years? No, I don't. I see plenty of holes in their games as well. But the Broncos have gotten to tighten up these details tomorrow. Be fundamentally sound. Do not turn the ball over. Stick in your lane on special teams. Defense, wrap up. The inside linebackers are going to be tested. Alexander Johnson, you need to have a big game, buddy, because your running mate Josie Jewell is out, and you're going to be back there with a couple of young bucks and Justin Sternad, maybe that Micah guy they just picked up. I don't know how much of the playbook he actually knows. Look for him on special teams, perhaps. And then Baron Browning coming off of the edge. It's going to be a competitive game for a little bit, and then I think you're going to see the Broncos start to take off.
And I think that having gone through the struggles the bulk of this team has gone through, this isn't a team that was coming off, 4 straight 12-4 seasons and had a dip last year. This team hasn't had enough sustained success amongst the core of its younger players in order to start taking wins for granted. We might overlook some teams. I might overlook the New York Jets and pencil in a win. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I overlook the Jets. I'm just going to end up looking stupid. Mm-hmm. That doesn't matter. I look stupid all the time. I don't mind.
Me too.
That happens. I trust that the coaching staff and the players are taking it week to week and taking it seriously, and for several reasons.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And we're starting to wrap it up, and then we're going to get to our game predictions. James coming in here. Appreciate you so much, James. Thank you for joining Scott and I on MHI. We really appreciate your time. It's your Saturday night in Broncos country. My palms start to get sweaty Saturday night. I start to get nervous. I wake up ass early in the morning to water my lawn, get the coffee going, start watching the early shows, get everything going. I got my rituals, right? We're always talking about rituals, stuff like that. James coming in hot, and I love this question because it's something. PS2 is my guy. I ride and die with PS2. When he got drafted, I know everyone else was freaking out over Justin Fields. I was so thrilled, and in the draft,
and it might be the same background we had, but I said in January, this is your guy.
In the draft room, man, this is my guy, and I will stick with him. And James is referencing PS2. I don't know if anyone asked this already, but Scott, do you think the Jets will try to test PS2 heavily tomorrow? You saw one rookie quarterback do it in Trevor Lawrence, and he got caught. You think Zach Wilson's going to go after PS2?
I'm going to give the same answer I gave for this Kyle Fuller one. I think that the Jets and Zach Wilson have to worry about Zach Wilson before they start working about individual matchups. I think they got to go short and easy. Yeah. Start getting some easy completions, some bubble screens, some little arrow routes, some little angles to the running backs. So I think you're going to see some slot receivers and some tight ends and some running backs before you start testing the perimeter of this defense, because he's coming off 4 interceptions. So he needs to get some. They may go after him later, but they're going to have to try and get Zach Wilson in a rhythm. I would expect a short passing game to get started just to get that kid some confidence back.
Look for the Jets defense to have a lot of cover 3. Look for CJ Mosley to be very active. It's a tough middle of the field in the defense, if you will. So just watch that Broncos country as we go. We all wrote about it on milehighhuddle.com. I've got the Broncos winning 34-17 against the New York Jets. I think you're going to see some similar football as we saw in Jacksonville. I think that the emotion, the energy of the crowd is going to be just intense, man. And I'm smiling. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because we've all been there. We've all been a part of Broncos country, and we know that mile high magic that happens in there. I'm expecting turnovers. I might even expect one to go back to the house. You name them. That's going to be the defender. Take your pick. Maybe it's time for Kyle Fuller to get some little bit of redemption. Maybe it's PS2 again. Who knows? But it's going to be a good game. You're going to see the Broncos make mistakes. Those mistakes are going to happen on special teams.
And one more point about not overlooking the team. The first home game with full set of fans in how long? 2 years? Yeah, 2 years.
It's like that Titanic meme. It's been 84 years, right? That's how long it's been since these guys.
Not let the Denver Broncos take this team for granted when you're in the
No,
stadium.
dude, Zach Wilson is going to be piddling in his pants because he's got Von Miller, Draymond Jones, Shelby Harris, Mike Purcell. He's got Malik Reed. Heck, do not be surprised to see Alexander Johnson blitz that A-gap, folks. You know he loves to do it. He does it very well. This Broncos D, Coach Fangio, I hope you're ready to bring it tomorrow, man, because I've got high expectations for your defense. The offense, stay competent, stay energized, move the ball downfield, keep your defense healthy and off the field, and we'll be ready to go. Scott, give me your score. How do you see this one going? Broncos, Jets, season opener. Tell me something I love.
I like a very comfortable 27-10, 27-13. I think DeAndre Witherspoon had that same score. I like that one. It could be very similar to what we've seen where the game is close by score after 20 minutes. But then, kind of like this isn't, I'm going to snakes for some reason, but this isn't a cobra striking team. This is a constrictor. This is a constrictor that makes it just squeezes the life out of a team. And at the end, they got no hope. So as long as you're not beating yourself, this should be a fairly comfortable win. And real quick, Peter asked, did we answer it already? His question was Tim Patrick at $15 million or Chubb at $15 million?
Tim Patrick. I'm done with Chubb.
I'd go neither right now. $15 million. I'm not giving either of those guys $15 million.
Why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that?
We're finishing $15 million right now. I mean, $15 million is reserved for guys that have four figures next to their name at least once, 1,000-yard receiving year.
Can I be unreasonable Twitter fan for a second? You're a Tim Patrick hater. That's what they call us, right? When we make those.
I'm a general manager that looks at the business side of things. If I'm negotiating against his agent, I'm going to say he's never had more than 700 yards.
His name is Scott Kennedy. You can call him George Kennedy. That GM
if he does. I just don't think there's going to be a $15 million market for Tim Patrick right now. And right now with Chubb, I wouldn't give him that kind of money because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I wrote about it in my post game last week. I'll be writing about it tomorrow as I'm covering the game as well. I'm always writing as the game is going on, something you know very well. Also, Scott, your years of the business, respect, tip of the cap. No, I hear you. It's going to be
old. That's a nice way of calling me old.
No, that's tip of the cap, man. Rivals, everything, man. That Scout, I know everything, man. I know what you've done, and I have tons of respect, and I can't thank you enough for joining me tonight on such short notice because Nick is off doing important family things. And I'm saying that with all sincerity. Sometimes things are bigger than football. Sometimes things are bigger than covering this specific show. And that's one of those circumstances with family right now. So appreciate you so much. Broncos country. Y'all absolutely killed it tonight. I love seeing all our little thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. You guys can find this podcast as well as the Dove Valley Deep Divers, Huddle Up, Building the Broncos for Breakfast, absolutely all of our digital content, anything from Kelberman Corner to the Broncos Book Club, all of it, anywhere you guys get your podcasts and audio content. We appreciate you guys so much. He's Scott Kennedy. You can find him at Scott Kennedy on Twitter. Please reach out. He will respond. I respond. We are football nerds. I'm at Luke Patterson, LP. And we appreciate you guys so much. So get ready for Broncos, Jets tomorrow, the home opener. Get ready. There's going to be fireworks. He's Scott. I'm Luke saying go Broncos.